Welcome to this deep dive. Today we're touching on something really significant, navigating grief, specifically after losing a spouse.
Hmm. It's such a profound experience. It really changes everything. The sadness, the silence, the feeling of being adrift.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And we're going to explore how journaling, something we've talked about before in different contexts, can be a real anchor during that time.
Right. The simple act of writing can be surprisingly powerful, can't it? Especially when dealing with such intense emotions.
It really can. And we're looking specifically today at bereavement and, how a well-designed journal might offer particular support. We've seen those Lestalian journals before. Their quality is noticeable.
Yes, we're familiar with them. They're journal notebook for widows, widowers.
Yeah,
It seems purpose-built, really. Designed to be more than just paper, but an actual tool for processing loss.
exactly. That's our mission today, to unpack how journaling, maybe using a journal like that one from Lestalian with its specific features, can genuinely help someone heal, help them move forward while still, honoring their past.
Finding that balance is key.
It reminds me a bit of my Aunt Carol. After my Uncle David passed,
Hmm.
well, she was completely lost, understandably.
Of course.
My cousin gave her this really nice, sturdy notebook.
Oh.
Not Lestalian, but that kind of quality, felt substantial.
Okay.
At first, she just carried it, didn't write much. But then, slowly, she started writing little notes to David about her day, stuff he'd find interesting.
Like keeping the conversation going in a way.
Yeah, exactly. It became this private, tangible thing for her. Seemed to bring some comfort. We'll dig into why that kind of thing can actually work.
That's a really touching example. And it highlights something crucial, the need for a safe space. Journaling offers that, a place for raw emotion without any judgment.
Okay, so let's get into that. How does just writing, how does that actually help with pain that deep? It sounds almost too simple sometimes.
Well, it's about externalizing, isn't it? Taking those overwhelming feelings swirling inside the sadness, maybe anger, confusion, all of it, and putting them onto the page.
Create some distance.
Exactly. Just that little bit of separation can make them feel less all-consuming. And then there's the reflection part.
Right, looking back.
You can revisit what you wrote, see how things shift, maybe notice small moments of strength or, I don't know, tiny glimmers of hope you missed at the time. It makes the abstract grief feel a bit more concrete, manageable maybe.
Like giving shape to something that feels utterly shapeless.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And losing a spouse, it brings its own unique pain beyond just the sadness itself.
Oh, definitely. That silence you mentioned earlier, in a house that was full of shared life, it can be incredibly loud, almost deafening.
Yeah.
And the loss of that constant companionship often leads to deep isolation, fear about the future, big questions about who am I now?
Navigating the world alone again.
Precisely. And that's where journaling can step in as a way to kind of channel that emotional turbulence, give it some structure when everything else feels like chaos.
So let's talk about the Lestalian journal again. We know they make quality stuff, but what specific features make this one potentially helpful for someone grieving?
Well, thinking about the intensity of grief, a few things stand out. Those thick pages, for example, the ones that resist, bleed through. That's not just practical. It's almost like permission. Permission to really pour out strong emotions, write hard, maybe even cry onto the page without worrying about the ink messing it all up.
So it supports that raw expression. You don't want technical issues getting in the way of feeling.
Exactly right. It removes a tiny barrier when you need expression most. And then there's the feel of it, the elegant hardcover options, the general craftsmanship Lestalian is known for.
It feels more significant than just a spiral notebook.
It does. It suggests it's meant to be a personal sanctuary, a respected space. The quality sort of underlines the importance of the healing process, of taking that time for self-care. It makes the journal feel durable, like an anchor.
And they have a good number of pages, too. 211, I think.
That's right. Which is important because grief isn't quick, is it?
Not at all.
Having ample space means you can use it over the long term. Document the journey. And looking back, maybe months later, at those early entries, that can be incredibly powerful, seeing how things have shifted, even subtly.
A tangible record of your own resilience, maybe?
Perhaps. And they offer choices too. Soft cover, hard cover, quite a range of colors actually. Ash gray black, cocoa brown, royal blue. Then the fancier hardcovers like black faux leather, classic brown, even proactive purple and visionary red.
So you can choose one that feels right.
Which matters, even in grief. Little choices can feel empowering. And the fact some colors sell out suggests people are finding them useful, connecting with them.
It does seem like a specific tool meeting a very specific deep need. And they have lined pages, obviously, which gives that basic structure for writing.
Standard, but helpful.
Now, going back to my Aunt Carol, her writing letters to my uncle, that really speaks to one of the techniques often recommended, right? Letter writing.
Absolutely. Writing letters to the person who passed is a really common and often cathartic practice.
Why does that work so well, do you think?
It allows you to say things left unsaid, perhaps, or just to share your day, your feelings, maintain that sense of connection, that ongoing dialogue, even if it's one-sided physically.
Keeps them present, in a way.
In a very meaningful way, yes. And Listalion actually points out 5 key journaling approaches for widows and widowers. Letter writing is one. What else is effective?
Okay, another one they mentioned is making memory lists.
Ah, yes. Actively recalling and jotting down those cherished moments, shared jokes, special trips, things you loved about them.
That sounds proactive.
Yeah.
Not just dwelling on the loss, but celebrating the relationship.
Exactly. It's about actively preserving and honoring the good stuff, the love that was there. Then there's gratitude journaling.
Gratitude. In the middle of grief. That seems hard.
It can be, definitely. But it's about finding small things. Maybe the support of a friend, a moment of unexpected peace, even just a beautiful memory surfacing. Noting those down can be grounding. Finding tiny anchors.
Okay, I can see that. Finding sparks of light. What's next?
Daily reflections. Just consistently checking in with yourself. How am I feeling today? What happened today? How is the grief showing up right now?
Doesn't have to be profound every time.
Not at all. It's just the habit of observing your own emotional landscape. Yeah. It builds self-awareness, helps you see patterns maybe, or track progress, however small it feels.
Like charting the course, yeah. And the last one?
Using guided prompts. Sometimes staring at a blank page is just too much, right?
Definitely. Where do you even start?
So prompts thoughtful questions like, what memory brings me comfort right now? Or what's one small step I can take for myself today? Or even, what would my partner want from me? They can provide a gentle nudge, a starting point for exploration.
Those sound really helpful. They offer structure when life feels like it has none. And thinking about the Listalion journal, again, the space, the durability, it really lends itself to consistently using these techniques over time.
It becomes that dedicated container for all these different ways of processing.
You know, it makes me think of a friend, Michael. His husband, David, was the life of the party type, always filling the house with noise and laughter.
Okay.
After David passed very suddenly, the silence was just crushing for Michael, really overwhelming.
I can only imagine.
His grief counsel suggested journaling. Michael was skeptical, really wasn't sure. He started super simple, just noting down basic facts about his day. What he ate, if he got out of bed, small tasks he managed.
Just the basics.
Yeah. But then, gradually, he started adding little things, observations, things that reminded him of David, like finding a half-finished crossword David had started or hearing their song on the radio.
Ah, connecting the present back to him.
Exactly. He told me later that writing those small details down, it somehow made David's absence feel less absolute, like he was still noticing the shared world, even though David wasn't physically there to share it with him anymore. The journal became a place for that.
That's a beautiful illustration of how even simple daily reflections can be profound. It's about maintaining continuity, finding a way to integrate the past into the present, even amidst the pain.
It really shows how valuable that consistent private space can become. Doesn't have to be eloquent, just honest.
Absolutely. Authenticity is key in grief journaling.
So, as we kind of wrap up this deep dive, what's the main takeaway here? What should people hold on to?
I think the core message is that journaling is a genuinely valuable and really adaptable tool for anyone navigating the incredibly difficult journey of spousal loss.
It's a safe harbor.
Precisely. A safe place to express, to remember, and slowly, gently to find a way forward.
And having a dedicated journal, something well-made like the Listalion one designed for this purpose, it can really enhance that process. It's not just blank pages, it's structured support.
Yes, it signifies an intention, creating that deliberate space for your inner world when the outer world has been turned upside down.
Well said. Okay, so here's a final thought for you, our listeners. Think about this. How might creating your own dedicated sanctuary for your thoughts and feelings, especially during big life changes or losses, open up paths to healing you haven't expected?
What kind of space works best for your journal maybe, or something else entirely?
Something to consider. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive.